In this video, I'm going to continue going over problems from the book, namely 4 through 11. And what we're going to be doing here is a couple things. We'll be doing a combination of both the formalizing the statements and then seeing what we can derive using modus ponens. And then we'll work on other ones that are just proofs that have no translation, where we'll just be deriving from modus ponens. Let's get into it.
So number 4, you'll notice on page 22, it has an italicized version. I'm going to kind of ignore that. We're going to look at the version underneath it. It says this. Here's how we're going to translate an argument. So far we were just translating statements by themselves. Now we're going to be translating arguments. So the way arguments work is we're going to number them as we go through them, and we're going to figure out which one is the conclusion, the one that we're trying to prove. The first sentence says Papa John's uses better ingredients. When it gets to a period, that means that's it. That's the first assumption. It's a simple statement. Papa John's uses better ingredients. Now in the book it's all uppercase. For ingredients, that means we're going to take the first letter of that word, and that is our first statement. So this is Papa John's uses better ingredients. That's just going to be I, and that's an assumption. So the next sentence should be the second one. So it says this: if so, if what is so? If I is so. So if this thing is so. Now it doesn't say it explicitly here in the book, and I'm not going to do that to you on a quiz. But if so, if what? If this thing that's already been said is so, then what? Papa John's makes a better pizza. Assumption number 2. Then it uses this word, therefore. And that word therefore means this is the conclusion. This is the thing that we're solving for. So I'm going to go ahead and say, you got this, Papa John's uses better ingredients. If they use better ingredients, then they make a better pizza. Solve for, they make a better pizza. Now, it doesn't mean that it's true. We're just going to see if the argument is valid. So let's take what we know and see if we can figure this out. Now we're going to combine our skills. So first of all, now that it's all been translated, let's see, do we have any arrows? Not in parentheses. Yeah, we do. We got this one right here. Okay, so we got an arrow. Its left side is I. Do we have a left side match? We do, by itself. This means, again, because the one rule that we're using is this: if you got an arrow, you got a left side match, then you can get the right side. Well, we got an arrow. Its left side is I. We have a left side match. This means we can get P. How do we do that? Arrow out. Where was the arrow that we used? Line 2. Where was the left side match? Line 1. Hey, we did it. We were trying to solve for P. We got it. This is done. Number 5, we got this. Line 1. My name is on the lease. Okay, that's a simple statement. My name is on the lease. Assumption. Line 2. If so, if what is so? Well, if my name is on the lease. Could be clearer. Okay, if my name is on the lease, then the apartment is mine. Second assumption. Third assumption. If the apartment is mine, now the author of your textbook does not recapitalize the letter, I would say it again. All right, but here, even though they don't do that, if the apartment is mine, then what? Then I have the right to tell Curtis to turn down the volume. Assumption number 3. Then from here it says it follows that. That means it follows that is kind of like the therefore. It means here's the thing that we're solving for. It follows that. So what are we solving for? It follows that I have the right to tell Curtis to lower the volume. So here's the setup. We've done all the formalization setup. Now let's deduce. So what we do once we've done the translating, we're going to do, the mission is get this, get R. I have the right to tell him to lower the volume. Let's now see, do I have any arrows not in parentheses? I got one here, and I got one here. Now, do I have any left side matches? Do I have a left side match to this one? Nope. Do I have a left side match to this one? Yeah, I do. This one here, N arrow M, I have a left side match with line 1. That's the left side match, which means I'm going to unlock this M. So let's do that here. I can say in line 4, hey, I can totally get M. What move am I using? Arrow out. Where was the arrow I used? Line 2. Where was the left side match? Line 1. Because again, I'm using this pattern. If you got an arrow and you got a left side match, then you can get out the right side. So if you got an arrow and you got a left side match, you can get out the right side. We did that here. Now, since we did this, start over back at the beginning. Now with this new thing here, do I have a new left side match? Well, do I have a left side match? Here's an arrow. Do I have a left side match here? Yeah, that's one I already used. Here I have another arrow that I didn't have a left side match on a moment ago. Do I have a left side match now? Yes, I do. This is M arrow R. Now I have a left side match for M, which means I can unlock the R. So I'm going to do that. And say, hey, I get R. How did I do that? I used the one move that we got. Where was the arrow that I used? Line 3. Where was the left side match? Line 4. And this thing here, R, is the thing I was trying to solve for in the first place. So this problem is done. Number 6 actually doesn't have anything for us to translate this time. It's another just problem by itself. So let's go ahead and write it out. So line number 1 is A. That's an assumption. Line number 2 is B. That's an assumption. Line number 3 is going to be A arrow, B arrow, C. That's an assumption. And then what we want to solve for is just C by itself. I know that because that's what it says. And so remember, the only move that we've got is this move. If you got an arrow, you get a left side match, you can get the right side of the arrow. That's what we're using. Right, that's our only move right now. We got a bunch more moves later on, but this is our only move right now. So then when we look at this, the first thing we want to do is see, do I have any arrows not in parentheses? We got one right there. Do I have a left side match? I do, which means I can unlock the right side here, which in this case is in parentheses, which means it's going to get unlocked when I release it. So here we got an arrow, left side match. We get the right side out. What do we get? We get B arrow C, unlocked from its parentheses. What move did we use? Arrow out. Where was the arrow? Line 3. Where was the left side match? Line 1. Now what we do, again, after every move, look and see, do I have any new arrows not in parentheses? Now, this is fresh. Not in parentheses. All right, look at it. New arrow. Its left side is B. Do I have a left side match? Yeah, in line 2. Which means if I have an arrow and have a left side match, I can get out its right side, which in this case is C. So I can say, hey, I get C. How did I get it? The one move I've got, arrow out. Where was the arrow? Line 4. Where was its left side match? Line 2. And hey, that was the thing I was supposed to solve for. I was supposed to solve for C. I got C. This problem is done. Now let's take a look at number 7. 7's another one where it's not a translation. We've just got a problem to solve. So let's look. Line 1 here is just A arrow B. Then we get line 2 is just A. These are our assumptions, the things we were given, and we're supposed to solve for here just B by itself. And we got the one move that we've got in play, which is arrow out, which works this way. You got an arrow, you get a left side match, you get the right side. Let's see how this one works. So here, do I have any arrows not in parentheses? This one. Okay, this one's in parentheses, so I can't use it. I'm going to ignore it right now. So what I'm going to look for is this arrow here. Do I have a left side match? Yeah, I do. The left side of this arrow is A. I got the match right here. That means I'm going to be able to unlock this and free it from its parentheses. So I get A arrow B. Where was the, I did arrow out there. Where was the arrow I used? Line 1. Where was its left side match? Line 2. Do I have any new arrows? This one. Okay. So I got this arrow. Do I have a left side match? Yeah, in line 2. Now wait a minute, you might be thinking, I already used line 2. Well, each line you can use infinite times. They do not exhaust. There's not like a limit, like, oh, I already used this one once, I can't use it again. At least here, like, you can use it as many times. They have infinite uses. You don't need to worry about running out of it. So, but here, I have the arrow, I have a left side match. It's the same match as before, it just unlocks something new. And that means this, I got an arrow, left side match, I unlock the right side. The right side here is B, so I'm going to be able to get B. Line 4, I can say, hey, I got B. How did I do that? Arrow out. Where was the arrow that I used? This time it was line 3. Where was the left side match? Line 2. And this B that I got here is the thing that I was supposed to solve for. So I am done. Let's take a look at number 8. Here we're back to translating again. So we got this argument from Winnie the Pooh. It says, hey, there's a rabbit hole here. That's a simple statement, no ifs or thens or anything like that in there. So that's just, there's a rabbit hole here. Assumption. Line number 2. A rabbit hole means that there's a rabbit nearby. Now that's confusing language, but here's what's going on here. It's saying if there's a rabbit hole nearby, I wouldn't do this to you. If there's a rabbit hole nearby, then that means that there's a rabbit nearby. Okay, that's assumption number 2. Number 3. If there's a rabbit hole nearby, then that means that there's company around. Assumption. And if there's company around, that means that there's food available, as Winnie the Pooh is totally into. Thus, and that word thus there means that this is the conclusion, thus there's food available, so prove that there's food available. Okay, and so we got one move that we've got. This one, arrow out, you got an arrow, you got left side match, then you can get the right side out. So let's see, oh, this time we got 3 arrows, not in parentheses to start. We got this one, and this one. Do we have left side matches for any of these? Is there a C by itself? No. R by itself? No. H by itself? Yes. So this here, this unlocks this, which means we can get out the right side, which means we get R. We did our one move, arrow out. Where was the arrow that we used? Line 2. Where was its left side match? Line 1. Now with this here, rinse and repeat. Do we have a left side match now? Yeah, actually, yeah. Here in line 3, we had R, arrow, C. Now with this R here that we just got, we have a left side match, which means we're going to unlock the C. So we get C. What move did we do? Arrow out. Where was the arrow? Line 3. Where was the left side match? Line 5. Okay, and now that we've got this C, can we do another left side match, another arrow out? Yeah, this is the left side of this, which means since we have this arrow here and we've got a left side match, we unlock the F. Okay, so unlock F, that means arrow out. Where was the arrow that we used? Line 4. Where was the left side match? 6. And this F here, there's food available. That's what we're trying to solve for. We proved it. If these assumptions are true, food is definitely available. Number 9 is a little bit more complicated because of the first line. It says this: if we buy a piano, then we'll go broke if we also install air conditioning. Now this one has that pattern I talked about before. If, then if. Now when we see that, that means you're going to have 2 arrows and it's going to be heavy on the right side, all right, in order to make it dyadic. So that means following the first if, we've got if we buy a piano. So this, I know it's going to be this, line 1, piano, if we buy a piano, then if, which means we're going to have all this following. What follows the second if? Then we'll go broke if we also install an air conditioner. Now the wording here is a little bit backwards, but it says basically, if we buy a piano, then if we install an air conditioner, then what? We'll go broke. That's assumption number 1. Assumption number 2. If we buy a piano, then we'll have to get an air conditioning system. Okay, and this is because, and I know this because my father is a classical pianist. Pianos, being stringed instruments, are very particular when it comes to temperature and moisture. If they get too hot, the strings will warp. If they get too cold, the strings will warp. So you're gonna have a string instrument, especially like a piano, basically a giant harp made of wood with keys. It's gonna mess up if the temperature gets too hot or too cold. So you're gonna need an air conditioner, especially if you live somewhere hot. So this, P arrow A, assumption number 2. Then assumption number 3, we are buying a piano, which means P is happening. Assumption number 3, so, and that word so there means here's what we're solving for, we will go broke. So we're solving for, we're going to go broke. Now here again, only one move in play. We've got this move, we've got an arrow, we've got a left side match, then you can get the right side. So let's look and see, first of all, do we have any arrows not in parentheses? We got this one here, we got this one here, this one here. It's in parentheses, so it doesn't count. It's locked, we can't use it. So for this one, do we have any left side matches to this one? Yeah. Do we have any left side matches to this one? Also yeah. We got the same left side match. Does it matter which one then we unlock first? Actually, no. So in logic, the way it works is if you can do something, you can do it. It doesn't matter the order. Now what I like to do is at least start from the top. So here, I have a left side match here. Again, I also have a left side match here. I'm going to start with this one. So this one says, if I got this arrow, then I get this. Do I have a left side match? Yes. So that means I'm going to unlock the right side here. The right side here was a little bit more complicated, but now it's going to be freed from its parentheses. So I can say line 4, hey, I got A arrow B. How? Well, I did arrow out, and I used my arrow on line 1, and it's left side match on line 3. So this is a new arrow I've got. All right, now do I have a left side match for it anywhere? No, but I've already had the left side match here for line 2. So remember, I already used line 3. Again, they have infinite uses. They do not expire. So I've got a left side match here, which means I can unlock this, and I get A. Arrow out. Where was the arrow I used? Line 2. Where was its left side match? Also line 3. And then go back to the top again. Do I have any arrows? Well, this one I got a while ago. Do I have a left side match for it? I do. What does it get me? It unlocks the B. That was what I was trying to get in the first place. So I just say, how did I get it? Arrow out. Where was the arrow that I used? Line 4. Where was its left side match? line 5, and so we're going to go broke. That's that. Now we're going to look at numbers 10 and 11, neither of which we have to translate, but they're a little bit more sophisticated in terms of the proof. Let's take a look at those. Now let's take a look at number 10. Like I said, number 10 is another one where we don't have to do any translating, we just have to do some proving and some deduction, but let's see what we've got. So here, line 1 is going to be C arrow D, all that's in parentheses, arrow E, and that's assumption number 1. Assumption number 2 is going to be E arrow C, and then assumption number 3 is going to be C arrow D. So that's what we've been given, and then it says if you got these 3 things with this, solve for just D by itself. Get this. So let's take a look at what we've got. Now remember, the one rule we have in place that we can use is this one. You got an arrow, you got left side match, then you can get the right side. And again, that's arrow out, modus ponens. So let's see what we got. Let's take a look and see, do we have any arrows not in parentheses? Well, there's an arrow here, but it's in parentheses, so I'm not going to, it's locked. Ignore it. So we've got 3 here that are unlocked. So let's take a look at these. This one, do I have a C anywhere by itself, like on a line? No. This one, do I have an E anywhere on a line by itself? No. Well, this one, the left side of the arrow is C arrow D, like a complete thing. Do I have C arrow D anywhere? I do, in line 3. It's a little bit bigger, but it's still a left side match that fits into this, which means it's going to unlock this. So I'm able to get E. How so? Arrow out, where was the arrow that I used? Line 1, where was the left side match? Line 3, like I said, it's a little bit bigger, but it still works the exact same way. After you do a move, go back to the beginning and see if you can do another one. Can I do another arrow out? Do I have another left side match? Well, yeah, if I look at line 2 here, I've got this E arrow C. Here, the left side is E. I just got an E. So now I have a left side match for this one, which means now I can unlock a C. How did I do that? Arrow out. Where was the arrow? 2. Where was the left side match? Line 4. So that one's good. And then now with, can I do any others? Have I gotten the D yet, first of all? No. Can I do any others? Yeah, this one. I have an arrow. Its left side is C. I have a left side match. That means I can unlock here this D. I used the arrow out there. What was the arrow? Line 3. There was the left side match. Line 5. And I'm done. All right, let's get into number 11. So number 11, this is also on page 23. We got our first line here. It is also a lot of parentheses going on. We got F arrow G in parentheses, arrow G arrow H. And that's our first assumption. Line 2, we've got F arrow G, not in parentheses, assumption. And line 3, we just got F by itself. Okay, so those are our 3 assumptions. And then we've got that get this symbol, and what we're trying to get is just H by itself. All right, we do that, we're done. Okay, and remember the one move we have in place, again, we've got this. Modus ponens, arrow out, you got an arrow, you got a left side match, you can totally get the right side by itself. So let's start by seeing if we can do that by saying, do we have any arrows not in parentheses? Well, that one's in parentheses, so it doesn't count. That one's in parentheses, so it doesn't count. So this one, that one's free to use. So is this one. Now, do I have any left side matches here? And the answer is, I actually have 2 that I can do right now. So look at this arrow. Its left side is F arrow G. Do I have that somewhere by itself? I do, actually, in line 2. And then if I look at line 2, it itself is F arrow G. Do I have a left side match for this? I do, in line 3. So which one should I do first? In a certain sense, it really doesn't matter. I can do either one. Now, what I prefer to do is the ones that are at the top first. I like to get those out of the way, so that's what I'm going to do. But if you can do a thing in logic, it doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you can. So here, I'm going to start with this. I got this arrow. Its left side is F arrow G. I have the left side match in line 2, F arrow G. So what that's going to do, since I have a left side match here, it's going to unlock the right side, which in this case is going to be G arrow H. And I'm going to be able to unlock that and free it from its parentheses when I unlock it. So I get G arrow H. How did I get it? Arrow out. Where was the arrow? The one that I used was in line 1. Its left side match was in line 2. So this is now a new arrow that I have, not in parentheses. Doesn't look like I can do anything with it yet. I don't have a left side match. I don't have a G anywhere by itself. But I already knew that I had this other one that I could have done, and I could have started with this one. So I could have done this one first, but let's see what we get. We got an arrow, left side match. The left side is F. We got left side match, also F. That means we can unlock G. So let's go ahead and get that. We unlock G. Arrow out. The arrow was in line 2. Oh, we already used line 2. Doesn't matter. Every line has infinite uses. And then its left side match was in 3. Okay, and now that I've completed a step, I want to see, can I do any more? Well, I have that arrow that I got a moment ago. Its left side is G. And a moment ago I didn't have a left side match for G, but now I do, which means since I have an arrow and its left side is G and I have a left side match, I can unlock its right side, which is H. I'm going to get H here. Well, where was the arrow that I used? Line 4. Where was its left side match? Line 5. And this one now also is done.
All right, so now we've done 3 things. We've worked on translating or formalizing into formal notation. We've worked on deriving things using modus ponens with regard to conditionals. And we've worked on combining those skills together, both translating and deriving, all within the scope of one problem. So what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to actually give you a little bit of a preview of your quiz 2, show you some problems on there that will show you what the actual problems on the quiz will look like. See you next time.